Hi everybody, welcome to Art Club. How are you doing? Has everyone got their Art Club packet with them? Brilliant. So what else do you need today? You need something like a pencil that might be a bit of a sharp point. You might have something like a cocktail stick, and that's going to be helpful today. You also just need your usual colours and markers in case you want to do some drawing. So I think what we'll do today is we might start by opening the art pack instead of like we have in other weeks. So if you guys want to go ahead and open your art pack and just see what's inside. Okay, great. So what you should have is some plasticine. So you might have some colored plasticine like this piece here. You might have a few different colors, red, blue, some orange, there might be some yellow. And you should have a piece of white as well. So you have those, and then you'll also see that there is a kind of a sparkly pipe cleaner, so something like this guy, and there's also a really small silver packet. Now this packet is got super small things inside, very delicate, very teeny tiny, so when you're opening that up, be super careful. We'll have a look at and see what's inside there. So go ahead and open up the little silver pack. Great. And so what you might find in there are some teeny tiny little sparkly gems, like these ones, how small they are. And you might have different colors and shapes. So they're very precious, and we're going to put them to the side for now. Okay, so what are we going to do today? Well, we've got plasticine, we've got some sparkly things. Any thoughts? Ooh. I'll tell you what I was thinking about this week. So guys, this week I've been noticing a lot. It's been kind of coming for a few weeks now, is that I have this dove that's coming to visit. It's called a collared dove, and I've never really noticed one around before. And this is my bedroom window, and it's been coming there every morning and sometimes in the evening as well. So I started putting out some seeds, and I've discovered that I really like sunflower seeds. So I put a little bit of seeds out there, and now it comes every single day. And it's a little bit scared of me, but it's not too scared, and it kind of stands there and looks in, eats its seed. And whenever it comes, I think it just seems so calm and quiet, and it's very soft and beautiful, and it seems really gentle. So when I look at it, I always feel quite calm, and it's a really nice thing that it visits. And so I looked it up online to see a bit more information about it. And do you ever notice sometimes that there are facts about an animal, like kind of scientific facts, and then sometimes there are sort of magical facts, facts that are sort of more special, and kind of different people might say different things about animals. So I discovered that other people also thought that the collared doves are very gentle and very soft and really calm and very elegant and very quiet. And then I discovered that people, because of that, they also felt kind of nice when they looked at them, very positive feelings. And some people say that these birds are bringing a message of calm and tranquility and gentleness. And whenever they come, it's a message to tell you to just take a minute to be calm and to relax, and just watch it. And it's a message of hope as well, people say. So I made myself a small dove based on the dove that's been coming to visit me. And you might notice that it's made out of plasticine or mala like you guys have in your pack. It also has some special kind of tiny diamonds on it that I've put on it. And it has a piece of a pipe cleaner here, kind of like a halo, or it's kind of framing its head. And I thought, wouldn't you guys maybe like to make something similar? So you might find that there are animals that you are seeing recently, because it's spring, and maybe because you're home quite a bit. For example, some people have been mentioning things like they've seen bees, butterflies, centipedes, swans, ducks, herons, badgers, foxes, deers. They've been seeing all these kind of animals. Frogs is another one people have been saying they've been seeing. And maybe when you're out and about, or maybe when you're looking at your window, there's an animal you notice. Or maybe there is something else. Maybe there's an animal that whenever you see it, you feel a very special connection to. Like some people might have a special connection to a cat, or it could be like me with my dove, or something out in the world that whenever you see it, it feels special. And maybe you start to notice when you look at it that there's some facts about it that you can see in its character and how it moves about the world. But also maybe there's a sort of feeling of magic that you get, maybe an idea of stories or a message that it might be giving you. Like I said, for my dove, it was gentle, calm, quiet, soft, and positive. And people say it's a message of hope and a message of being calm and taking a deep breath. Another animal that's got a lot of cool magical feelings to it is a hare, if you've ever seen a hare. So they're very sensitive and very quiet, but they're also quite different to rabbits. They're really strong and they're actually very brave. And they live in big families and they have a big community of families important to them. They're very playful. And people think they're very mysterious and magical, and they're often connected to stories to do with the moon. So people connect hares and the moon as a kind of a story. And because we see them a lot in the springtime, people also associate them or connect them to the spring, and they think that when they see the hares, it's like the hares are bringing the spring to us. So that's some nice things about a hare. And what about a fox? Has anyone noticed any foxes around? If you live in the city or the country, you might see foxes. And some of the things that people were saying in the class about foxes were that they're very quick and quiet. They're out in the nighttime, and the nighttime is kind of a magic time. They're really sensitive. They're very loyal. They have a family unit, and they're really resilient. They're really good at surviving in the country or in the city. And there's lots of stories about foxes that can turn into fairies and fairies that can turn into foxes. And some people say that the word from shenanigan, which is kind of a word that means mischief, comes from the phrase in Irish that I play the fox. So the idea that foxes and mischief are very connected, and that they're kind of out there in the world, mischievous, curious creatures. Lots of people talked about deers and stags in class. Some people saw them in Phoenix Park, and some people see them out in the countryside where they live, or up in the Dublin mountains were mentioned as well. And deers are always watching very carefully. The're very sensitive, and they're very graceful and elegant. And people were saying they're really gentle creatures, and that there's loads of super old stories and stories that you might have heard of to do with deers and stags, and they're a really well-known animal in Ireland, and hopefully you've seen one. That might be something you might like to make. Badgers got mentioned too. Badgers are great, secretive, quiet, but they're also very confident and brave. They are also nocturnal, so they like the nighttime. They're kind of seen as being, there's a phrase, down to earth or grounded, and those phrases are often put with badger. And those phrases, if someone's down to earth, what are they? They're really straightforward, really trustworthy. They know themselves very well. And if someone's very grounded, they're very sure of themselves, they're quite confident. And that's what sometimes people associate with badgers. Now, we also had a talk about dogs, and somebody, in fact, actually had a type of Irish Wolfhound. It was, and it was great. They brought it up to the camera and we were able to see. So thanks, guys. That was brilliant. If you've ever seen one, the big Irish Wolfhounds are really, really big. And this gives you an idea. There's a little small terrier beside one. Now, they're very gentle. They're very loyal and strong. They're really protective. And if anyone who's a good person is being threatened, they'll be very fierce when they need to be. So they're seen as a really good family friend. When you have one in your family, they're very good. They look very wise with their grey hair. And people often think they have a lot of things to tell you if you could only speak to one. And then swans got mentioned a lot as well. So one of the things got talked about was that swans are super elegant and super beautiful and graceful, but they're also surprisingly strong, and they're really protective of their nests. And if you ever stand beside a swan, they're actually very big, and you do feel like you would want to be kind to a swan, because if a swan needs to protect itself, it's very good at doing that. There's lots of magic stories like the Children of Lear, and there's a big connection in Ireland with swans because we have lots of lovely swans here. So you might see them sometimes at a river or at a canal, or you might even see them sometimes flying, and they're really huge when you see them in the sky. So that was the animals we started talking about today, and as getting some ideas. But you might have a different animal that you're thinking of, maybe not these animals, and maybe you have some feelings about that animal, or something about that animal that you really like. So I'll show you the other ones that I made, just so that you can maybe have another look at how the making can be done. So that was my bird, and you can see that I kind of squished the plasticine together. I added some gems and I added the pipe cleaner. And I also made, this one is a cow, but it has kind of big horns. So you can see I got some really tiny pieces of plasticine, and I put like decorations on it, different kind of shapes. And I also had some leftover bits of tinsel from a different class, and I decided to put that on my cow as well. Okay, and it has some kind of diamonds in its eyes. And then today in class, when everyone was working, I was making a fox, because there's lots of talks of foxes, and I've been seeing a lot of foxes around, and they're kind of connected to people's dreams, people were saying. So I kind of made this blue pipe cleaner that made me think about dreams, and attached it on as well. And that's the fox there with its glistening eyes and its big kind of heart, kind of a diamond heart. So how do we work with plasticine or mala? You might have worked with it before, and one thing that is really good to start is, if you have, you know, your pieces like this flat, is to start scrunching it up. So get each individual color and kind of scrunch it up, and then roll it into a ball. And what you're doing here is you're making it warm. The kind of warmth will make it a little bit softer and make it a bit easier to play with and to make things out of it. You'll notice that some colors, like the blue, is particularly hard. You might need to work a bit harder with the blue. But eventually what you'll end up with is you'll have maybe 4 colors or so in balls, kind of ready to go, nice and warm. And you can start kind of mixing them together. You can mix colors, and you can also use your stick or your pencil to help you mold colors together. So let's say I was getting my white and my yellow, and I've got my shapes there. I can use this to start squidging the colors together, to connect them together. And I'm starting to, as I make, I'm starting to think about bees, actually. This makes me think of bees. So I think I might make this one into a bee. But you can also use your hands and do a little bit of squishing and pushing together. And you can make patterns. So maybe dots. You can draw little squiggles. You can do things like that. And then you could get your tiny diamonds, and you can just press them. So if you have one, for example, there, then you just press gently and it should stay. And the other thing to know about plasticine or mala is that you might know this already. It's not like clay that dries in the air. It actually always stays pretty soft. So if you decide, actually, I'm not really happy with this, you can take it apart and you can start again. Or once you've made it, like you might make something like this, you might decide in a few days, actually, do you know what? I'd like to turn this into something else, and you can do that. Or else you can decide to keep it somewhere very safe and keep it the way it is. If you were to stand on it, it would get flattened, so you have to be very gentle with them. Okay, so hopefully with all that chat and time to think and time to warm up your plasticine, take some time rolling it up like this. In class today, we spent a few minutes doing that, getting the colors ready. And while we were doing it, we were thinking about animals, thinking about what we might like to make. Some people started making one animal and it turned into another one halfway through. So there's lots of different things can happen while you're making. So how about you guys go for it now, get your colors nice and warmed up and start making your creature. Once you've done your creature, there's a piece of blue card, and you might like to make a drawing of your creature. And if you like, you can do some writing or tell somebody to do some writing for you about your creature, about what you've made or why you've made it. And there were some nice stories today to go with people's animals, so you might like to do that as well. Now, so go for it, and it'd be great if you want to share your work with us. Brilliant, please do. It's always nice to see what people come up with, and nice to share ideas, because by sharing ideas we actually learn a lot. So we learn different techniques, we learn things that when we're going to do something again, we can go, oh, I remember somebody made, you know, a cat, and they made the fur like this. Maybe I'll try that next time. So please share, it's great to build some knowledge together. Okay, so see you guys later, and I hope you enjoy making your creatures. Bye.